Well, the Steelers are still potentially in the quarterback market. They have a couple of guys here. Nobody's mentioning them too much, but they are also potentially looking at someone in the draft or a free agent or a trade. We've talked about all these scenarios. Jeff, I want to ask you, Brian Flores has not been shy, apparently, about saying he has an affinity for Deshaun Watson, who still has a lot of stuff to figure out, and there's suspensions and everything else. Any chance that he could end up here?
No. But I would do it under this scenario. If Houston just decides to cut ties with Watson, and he's like Dwayne Haskins and sitting there as a free agent is looking for a play his way back into the NFL contract that would be really cheap. They can't afford to give up draft picks. They need to rebuild this team. Any trade for any quarterback where you're giving up first or multiple draft picks is an insane move. Same with Deshaun Watson.
I would offer next year's first-round draft pick right now. Not this coming draft, but next year's. I would absolutely do that. Deshaun Watson being toxic and being Chernobyl-like, I can understand that nobody wants to touch him. But I'm still puzzled as to how long this is going to play out in terms of no charges being brought against him. You run a huge gamble and you run a huge risk. I would offer first-round draft picks in the future for Deshaun Watson right now. And if you're not willing to do that, obviously you can't get in the game for him. But if I was a general manager, I'd think about it. It would solidify your biggest problem that you have.
It's hard not to think about it because Deshaun Watson is a tantalizing talent. I mean, this is probably a top 5 quarterback when he's healthy. He's that good. I actually think he was under the radar in Houston because they were so bad the last couple of years, but they weren't bad because of him. He's a really great player. That said, I don't think there's any chance this happens. This was a really serious thing, and this isn't case closed. There were more than 20 women involved in this. And, yeah, I know he didn't get suspended yet. He's probably going to, right? Maybe charges will be filed. We don't know. I agree. It's incredibly bizarre that it has taken this long and there's still no resolution. But nonetheless, this was a really big story, and I wouldn't be giving up a first-round pick for this guy just yet. I just think there are way too many question marks. It's tempting, yes, but at what cost? I just don't see the Steelers doing it.
Jeff, I think it's unlikely the Steelers have the guy they want in the first round of quarterback. So the most logical thing is to have the guys they have and bring in somebody else. Now, we saw this week that Jameis Winston made a video and said, hey, look at me. I'm on the rehab. Do you like Jameis Winston, Jeff, or what do you think is the most logical conclusion to this quarterback drama?
Although I think Pony got him a little out of focus when he was shooting that video of him. I like Jameis Winston if he's cheap. I don't want to commit to a long-term deal with him. I don't want to pay him a ton of money. If he's willing to go for 2 years at a reasonable price, I think Jameis Winston is a good option because he's a free agent. He's not costing you anything. And that's my point earlier. If they bring in a true free agent, I'm okay with that as long as you're not spending, out of the roof for a guy like that because you have so many other needs.
I've got the quarterback solution, and I've had the quarterback solution for a long time, and it's a very simple proposition. What you do is, and if Deshaun Watson's out, you just live with this year. You go ahead and you live with Mason Rudolph, and you don't draft anybody. You don't draft Willis. You don't draft Kenny Pickett if they're available. Unless you have a quarterback that you can see being your guy 5 years from right now, you just kind of punt on this year at that position and take care of it last. You draft 2 linemen, either 2 offensive linemen, 1 on each side of the ball. You try to beef up around them, and then you go into next year's draft, and you're willing to use picks to trade up. You draft your quarterback there, or you pay the price in free agency for someone that's going to be your quarterback for multiple years. I really feel that's a solution right now. You just get through it with Haskins and with Mason Rudolph this year.
If Jameis Winston wants to come here on a short-term deal, I would certainly consider that if I were the Steelers. I do think there's a lot of untapped potential there. This is a guy who was the first overall pick, and he hasn't had a bad NFL career. I would just say he's been entertaining. A lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards, a lot of interceptions. He's an interesting guy. I don't know that he really fits into Matt Canada's offense. He's not particularly mobile. I'd consider it for the right price. But I agree with Colin. I mean, look at the Steelers right now. They're not a Super Bowl team, even if they had a great quarterback, in my opinion. You have to be good at the line of scrimmage, and I don't remember the last time when the Steelers were this bad on the line of scrimmage. It's an enormous problem. If I'm the Steelers, I'd probably go with Mason Rudolph this year. There's about a 5% chance that he becomes some big-time quarterback. If that happens, great. If it doesn't happen, build your team elsewhere, make smart decisions, get your quarterback when the time is right and when the right quarterback is there, because there are no slam dunks in this draft right now. There just aren't.
No, I agree, and I think it's too costly to make a trade, so that's why I've said Mitch Trubisky all the time and throw him in with those other guys, sort of what you're saying, Colin. So we're going to find out. There are a lot of things coming up with free agency, the draft. We'll be talking about it, I'm sure, every week. In the meantime, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the Penguins, who had a showdown with Carolina at home. They've now lost 2 in a row, and they don't have games in hand on Carolina. What would this look like as a playoff matchup? We'll talk about it next, right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.